Semitism. Owen Jones joins me now, Guardian columnist. Owen, very good evening to you. What should Keir Starmer have done here?
Where do you begin? Look, I mean, the double standards are so obvious, and he should have done what he would have done if this candidate wasn't a member of his political faction, which is immediately disavow him, refuse to endorse him. There will be a general election in a few months, so whatever happens, there'll be another chance for the Labour Party to select another candidate in any case for that general election, and also make clear that he won't take the whip. I mean, look, you just gave an example there of Andy McDonald, for example. Andy McDonald said, he's a Labour MP, we won't rest until we have justice, until all people, Israelis and Palestinians between the river and the sea, can live in peaceful liberty. He got the boot for that. Kate Osamor, another Labour MP, on the day that the International Court of Justice, the highest court on earth, put Israel on trial for alleged genocide, that was the point he was making, she said it was a genocide. She was suspended from the Labour Party as a consequence. This guy is a truther. He's a 7/10, October 7th truther, who publicly claimed that the Israeli state allowed October the 7th to happen, killing huge numbers of its own people deliberately. What are we even talking about here? Has everyone gone mad? Why are we even debating or discussing this in a kind of what should he do or should... Obviously, this is a major scandal. And it's a major scandal, I would know, because Keir Starmer, I mean, I don't know why all this is memory hold and everyone just forgets everything that happens in the Labour Party before, often the last week under Starmer's regime. Do you remember he commissioned a report under Martin Ford QC, the Ford report, which is completely forgotten now? That was commissioned by Keir Starmer, and the Ford report explicitly said that questions of anti-Semitism must not be used or abused in a factional way. So why are we still now, in 2024, why are left-wing MPs being kicked out for no good reason on the grounds of the bracket anti-Semitism? Nothing Andy McDonald said was anti-Semitic, as I hope you could concede. This guy has said something far worse, by the way, than any left-wing MP, not just now, but in the Corbyn era, and they're still backing him. It's insane.
What should Starmer have done? Should he have done what the Green Party have done and actually urge people not to vote for his own candidate?
Of course you should. You can't have a candidate being elected who believes in these kind of conspiracy theories. Look, nobody, I think you would probably accept, nobody is more passionate apart from Palestinians and those actually obviously impacted by what Israel's done. But few commentators in the British media are more passionate about the horrors being unleashed by the Israeli state. Claiming that the Israeli state allowed 7th of October to happen is completely deranged. Clearly no elected politician should be considered credible or able to do their job as an MP if they can fall for those sorts of completely unhinged conspiracy theories. There shouldn't really be a discussion about this. And I would note as well, again, who is welcoming Keir's Labour Party and who's not. Keir Starmer can go on LBC, as he did at the beginning of the conflict, and call for water and energy to be cut off from the civilian population, a war crime. And at the same time, you can have a candidate standing who says that Israel allowed 7/10 to happen with the mass murder of all those Israeli civilians. But if you oppose war crimes, then you get kicked out of the Labour Party. I mean, this is the world turned upside down. There is clearly no natural justice here. This is completely factional. If he wasn't their mate, if he wasn't a former New Labour advisor, Louise Ellman, people saying they've known him for 20 years, if it wasn't for the fact he's part of their gang, he's part of their faction, he would immediately have been disavowed. There would be no chance whatsoever of him taking the whip. Everybody knows this. I'm just pretending otherwise if we say otherwise.
Let me play devil's advocate for a second. I mean, you could be accused of being factual in what you've just said, because if this had been a sort of Corbynistic candidate or a left-wing candidate, would you be saying the same thing that you've just said over the last few minutes?
Yes, I would. Yes, I would, because I would note, for example, in the Corbyn era, and I got a lot of stick for this, I call for Chris Williamson to be suspended. So I'm afraid that does instantly shoot that down. Yes, I know. I believe there is obviously lines you have to draw. It doesn't matter. That's the whole point. These sorts of questions have to be taken out of a factional lens. You know, these are serious issues. And what the Ford report said, and it was commissioned, that report by Keir Starmer, was that the questions to do with anti-Semitism had been used in a factional way. And we can see that playing out if you get people saying completely innocuous things about peaceful coexistence between Israelis and Palestinians, or saying that it's a genocide, which people are perfectly entitled to do. Now, the highest court on earth has said there is a case for Israel to answer. That is now to be assessed by the ICJ. But if you say that Israel deliberately allowed the 7th of October massacre to happen, then that's absolutely fine if you apologise for it, even though nobody with any sense thinks that he clearly has stopped believing it. Why would he suddenly stop believing it if just on the basis of an uproar? That's a deeply felt, unhinged belief, which I doubt he's going to abandon just because of some prodding from the leadership.
Owen, thank you very much. Appreciate your time. That's Owen Jones, the Guardian columnist. We'll come to your calls in a moment. 0345 6060 973. Somebody says, Iain Dale, Netanyahu apologist. Well, anybody that's listened to this programme since October the 7th and well before that will know that I have no time for Benjamin Netanyahu. I think he's an appalling man, and I wished he wasn't Prime Minister of Israel. That doesn't mean to say that I don't think that Israel had a right to respond to what happened on the 7th of October. Those are two very different things.